everybody. Right, so we're back for the fourth part of our Minpins Roald Dahl story. Okay. When the sightseeing tour was over, little Billy sat down again on a large branch and said to the whole company of Minpins, "Look, I've had a lovely time with all of you, but how am I ever going to get home again? My mother will be going crazy." "You can never get down from this tree," Don Minnie said. "I've told you that. If you're stupid enough to try, you will be eaten up in 5 seconds. "Is it a spittler?" little Billy asked. "Is it the terrible blood-suckling, tooth-pluckling, stone-chuckling spittler?" "I've never heard of any spittler," Don Minnie said. "The one waiting for you down there is the fearsome gruncher, the red-hot, smoke-belching gruncher. He grunches up everything in the forest. That's why we live up here. He has crunched up hundreds of humans and literally millions of Minpins. That makes him so dangerous is his amazing and magical nose. His nose can smell out a human or a Minpin or any other animal from 10 miles away. Then he gallops towards it at terrific speed. He can never see anything in front of him because of all the smoke he belches out from his nose and mouth. But that doesn't bother him. His nose tells him exactly where to go." "Why does he blow out all that smoke?" little Billy asked. "Because he's got a red-hot fire in his belly," Don Minnie said. "The gruncher likes his meat roasted, and the fire roasts it as he goes down." "Look," little Billy said. "Gruncher or no gruncher, I've simply got to get home somehow. I'll have to make a dash for it." "Don't try, I beg you," Don Minnie said. "The gruncher knows you're up here. He's down there now waiting for you. Climb down a bit lower with me and I'll show you." Don Minnie walked easily straight down the side of the great tree trunk. Little Billy climbed carefully down after him from one branch to the next. Soon below them they began to smell the revolting hot stench of the gruncher's breath, and the orange-red smoke was now billowing up into the lower branches in thick clouds. "What does he look like?" little Billy whispered. "Nobody knows," Don Minnie answered. There we go, there's a picture. "He makes so much steam and smoke that you can never see him. If you are behind him, you can sometimes catch a glimpse of him, of little bits of him, because all the smoke is being blown out in the front. Some Minpins say they have seen his black legs, huge and black and very hairy, shaped like lions' legs, but 10 times as big. And it is rumoured that his head is like an enormous crocodile's head, with rows and rows of sharp pointed teeth, but nobody really knows. Mind you, he must have gigantic nose holes to be able to blow out all that smoke." They stayed still, listening, and they could hear the gruncher pawing the ground at the base of the tree with his giant hooves and snorting with greed. "He smells you," Don Minnie said. "He knows you aren't far away. He'll wait forever to get you now. He adores humans and he doesn't catch them very often. Humans are like strawberries and cream to him. You see, for months he's been living on a diet of Minpins, and 1,000 Minpins is not even a snack for him. The brute is ravenous." Little Billy and Don Minnie climbed back up the tree to where all the other Minpins were gathered. They seemed glad to see little Billy come safely back. "Stay up here with us," they said to him. "We'll look after you." Just then a lovely blue swallow alighted on a branch not far away, and little Billy saw a mother Minpin and her 2 children climb quite casually onto the swallow's back. Then the swallow took off and flew away with its passengers seated comfortably between its wings. "Good heavens!" cried little Billy. "Is that a special tame bird?" "Not at all," Don Minnie said. "We know all the birds. The birds are our friends. We use them all the time for going places. That lady is taking her children to see their grandmother, who lives in another forest about 50 miles away. They'll be there in less than an hour." "Can you talk to them?" little Billy asked. "To the birds, I mean." "Of talk to them, Don Minnie said. We can summon them at any time if we want, if we have to go somewhere. How else would you get our supplies of food up here? The red hot bruncher makes it impossible for us to walk anywhere in the wood. Do the birds like doing this for you? Little Billy asked. They'll do anything for us, Don Minnie said. They love us and we love them. We store food for them inside the trees so they don't starve when the icy cold winter comes along. Suddenly, all sorts of birds were alighting on the branches of the tree around where little Billy was sitting, and the Minpins were climbing onto their backs in droves. Most of the Minpins had small sacks slung over their shoulders. At this time of the day, they go off to collect food, Don Minnie said. All the grown-ups have to help us getting food for the community. The population of each tree looks after itself. Our large trees are like your cities and towns, and the small trees are like your villages. It was an astonishing sight. Every kind of wonderful bird was flying in and perching on the branches of the great tree, and as soon as one landed, a Minpin would climb onto its back and off they would go. There were blackbirds and thrushes and skylarks and ravens and starlings and jays and magpies and many kinds of small finches. It was all very fast and well organised. Each bird seemed to know exactly which Minpin it was collecting, and each Minpin knew exactly which bird he or she had ordered for the morning. The birds are our cars, Don Minnie said to little Billy. They are much nicer and they never crash. Soon all the grown-up Minpins, excepting Don Minnie, had flown away on birds and only the tiny children were left. Then the robins came in and the children began climbing onto their backs and going for short flights. Don Minnie said to little Billy, the children are all practising learning to fly on robins. Robins are sensible and careful birds and they love the little ones. Little Billy simply stood there staring. He could hardly believe what he was seeing. Right, now your activity for this part of the book, and this is on the website as well if you want to check it on there, is to write a description of the Minpins. Now you could use your drawing to help you, but we've also found out lots more about them. So it would be really good if you could make it almost like a report and you could split it into different sections. So you could have a subtitle saying appearance and then have what they look like. You could have clothes, what they wear. You could have transport, what they drop, how they get around. You could have their houses, what their houses are like. You could even have like interesting fact, or interesting facts, and maybe say that the children ride on robins because they are sensible. Okay, so each subheading you'd have a main heading, Minpins, and then a subheading, and each one should have a little paragraph, and a paragraph is like 2 sentences about each. You could do more. Okay everybody, I'll be back soon to read you the next part of the story. Okay, bye.